bring on Yoshiharu Hoshino, the president of Hoshino Resort Group, which has expanded to 32 facilities since 1991, and it includes the respected Hoshinoya brand. His innovation is that he emphasized operation strategy and introduced a new business model of management service intensification. He also launched the new Kai brand of small luxury onsen or hot spring resorts, expected to open at every famous hot spring across Japan. Please welcome Yoshiharu Hoshino.
Thank you very much. It's happy to be here and explaining traditional Japanese onsen ryokan. That is my pleasure. It's very good to be here. You might think that only thing Japanese people are good at is producing automobiles. You might think so. But there is that is probably half correct. But there's another thing that we are best good at, which is bathing in a hot spring and relaxing. Japanese people relaxing sounds very difficult story to convince. And that's why I'm here for today. And I like to tell that story in 15 minutes and try to convince all of you that we are better good at bathing and relaxing in Japanese natural hot spring areas. So I'd like to start with the series of slides showing the scenes of Japanese natural hot spring areas. And I think this presentation with the music will do the all. And if there is anybody who is not convinced after these slides, I will keep on talking until you all are convinced. Thank you. So let's start with the exciting part. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anybody who are not convinced yet? There are some, so I have to start doing the second version of my presentation, which is a boring part, but it's very important. Actually, there are 4 elements in our product. Japanese natural hot spring resort, we call that onsen ryokan. So I call it onsen ryokan from now on in this presentation. The onsen ryokan consists of 4 important elements. One is a Japanese architecture. It has to be the Japanese design and that Japanese atmosphere. Some of them are very traditional, old, historic. Some of our onsen ryokans are listed as a national heritage building. But many of them are modern Japanese architecture, which is becoming more popular in Japan. The second element is a natural hot spring. It has to be natural hot spring. I'll tell you later that how many of them in Japan. Sometimes outside, many inside. Picture like this represents how older people like onsen ryokans in Japan. The Japanese cuisine is the third element. It has to be Japanese cuisine prepared locally and presented nicely, and this is one of the important elements of the onsen ryokans. And fourth element is, of course, the omotenashi. The word is becoming more famous after our presentation in Tokyo Olympic presentation, but it's a service that represents the locality and authenticity of that each area of Japan. So, the summary, the 4 important elements, and we package them together and present it to our guests. It is usually a package price per person basis. So if it is a 30,000 yen, it includes all these 4 experience when you are going to the onsen ryokans. And that's unique about this onsen ryokan business. It is the price is not the room-based the price. It is a package price that includes all these 4. We started this business long time ago, 12th century. We do have a record showing that onsen experience all over Japan. I'll show you some old pictures. Yes, this is a beppu in Kyushu. We had this, my business, I'm a 4th generation in my business, and then my grandfather started this business, but many onsen ryokans have a longer history in Japan. The reason why this is so popular is the nature of our islands or country. As you see, the volcanoes all over the islands, all over the country. We do have a lot of earthquake, which creates the onsen, hot spring water underneath our ground, and we can take those natural hot springs all over Japan. It is the number of onsen places is 3,100 areas in Japan. It's a lot of them in a country. The number of hotel and ryokan rooms, if you compare, we now have a lot of Western-style hotel rooms, 800,000, but onsen ryokan rooms are very close to the Western-style hotel rooms. The number is 764,000 rooms in Japan still. But if you look at the number of hotels, it's about 10,000 hotels, Western-style hotels, mainly in Tokyo and Osaka and in those big cities. But ryokans are all over Japan, especially the local areas where you go for traveling. The number is 47,000 onsen ryokan, which means most of them are small, 20 room, 30 room, 40 room onsen ryokans, providing a very good service, high standard of the food cuisine, and onsen ryokans are all over Japan, very popular, supported by Japanese travelers, and also recently international travelers are enjoying more and more, and customer satisfaction is very high even for the foreigners. But there is some problems in our industry. the one problem is that the number of onsen ryokans, the number of hotel rooms in our industry has been decreasing for the last 20 years. The main reason is there's not enough changes in our industry, not enough innovations in our onsen ryokan business. The reason probably is it is such a long tradition of our industry, and my fathers and our fathers are very stubborn, and our mothers are quiet, and those would be the reason why we hadn't really made changes to meet the needs of the current recent travelers. Younger generations in Japan are used to Western style living, and they now feel some uncomfort or inconveniences when they are staying in these traditional Japanese inns, like onsen ryokans. So my job has been to transform these old-style onsen ryokans and maintaining the important elements, but making changes to certain areas so that the modern Japanese travelers and international travelers can enjoy onsen ryokans more frequently without any feeling inconvenience. For example, we created the tatami sofa so that modern travelers can relax in Japanese rooms. We also made a lot of changes to the way we sleep in those onsen ryokans. The traditional ways is good and very authentic, but might not be convenient for the international travelers. So we made a lot of changes so that anybody can enjoy without feeling any inconvenience. Those are the things we've been doing, taking over the old onsen ryokans and transforming to modern traveling products in Japan. This is a Kai brand, again. This is Hoshino brand. This is the first Hoshino we created in my hometown. This is a property in Kyoto. And then we are coming to Tokyo in 2016. This is very important for us that onsen ryokan is very important our traditions and trying to give the new life to it. We created a real estate investment trust in this summer, in July, and now it's listed in Tokyo Stock Exchange. It's the first of that kind. And it was very, very difficult for me to create that and convince all these owners to put their properties in this trust because they succeeded those properties for a long, long time from their ancestors. But I think it's necessary right now for us to make a lot of changes to this onsen ryokan business so that we can welcome more international travelers and we can be meeting the needs of the customers in Japan, even the younger generations. In order for us to do it, we definitely need further investment or access to the capital, and that's the reason why we created a real estate investment trust. So this concludes my presentation. If any of you are not still convinced that we are better good at bathing and relaxing than producing automobiles, please visit us and experience the onsen ryokans so that you can be 100% convinced. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.